No, we are more likely to be brutalized by one of our own than we are the white boy, actually. The worst cops out there are female and black. And don't let them be a fucking black female. You're really done for. The few bad apples shifts the focus from their culpability to the idea that if we just get rid of these, we shake out these few bad apples, that it'll solve the problem. But if these bad apples keep popping up, is it really just a few? Come on now. Come on now. You know, the few bad apples narrative, all that do is lets the general white people public, it gives them peace of mind to continue to ignore the fact that their institutions that they set up are fucking evil in its nature. White folk, oh, it's just only a few bad apples. Okay, we just get rid of them, everything will be fine. It'll just be fine. We get rid of a few bad apples. It's okay. See, just a few bad apples. Sorry you lost one for no reason, but we'll get rid of that one and everything will be fine. The narrative helps white folks sleep good at night. It's to reassure the public, the white public, to make them believe that the institutional law enforcement isn't pure evil, which is what it is. There's nothing morally ethical or ethically redeemable about our law enforcement. Nothing. There's no such thing as a good cop, in my opinion. Nothing. And black people need to stay the hell away from them. Also, it's just frustrating talking about these people. Research, has shown that the police departments across the United States often have patterns of misconduct and abuse, and that are not limited to just a few individuals. For example, a 2016 report by the Department of Justice found that in Baltimore itself, that police department engaged in a widespread pattern of practice of deplorable conduct that violated the constitutional rights of the residents, particularly the residents in predominantly black areas. And this was not the result of a few rogue officers. It was the whole damn department. The few bad apples narrative serves as a shield, an additional shield for police departments from accountability. These people, the law enforcement field, they don't want to change. They don't want to do better. They want to fucking exterminate black people. But by framing misconduct as a result of just a few individuals, law enforcement agencies can avoid the fact they can continue to have this false public narrative that they're there to protect and serve. Instead of the reality that the institutional policies and practices of law enforcement is that to exterminate black folk. It's more than this lack of accountability is more than a systemic problem. It's a cultural problem within these departments. This few bad apples narrative, it fails to address the racial bias that exists within these departments. Because they don't want to. Let me tell you something. If as an institution, if they wanted to get better, they would. They don't want to. And when they sit up here and focus on individuals, these few bad apples, it's a way to actually shield themselves, and so they can continue to do this again just a few months later. The few bad apples narrative have a profound implication on a relationship between these murderous thug institution and black folks. Rather than them going out there and doing what their quote unquote mantra says for them to do, which is protect and serve, but they only protect and serve each other and the institution. This narrative just makes it impossible to come to a resolution between blacks and the police department. From a community standpoint, when the community don't trust the police, we are less likely to report any crimes. We are less likely to cooperate with any investigations. We have adopted the do not snitching policy. For what? These few bad apples narratives contribute to the erosion of communities. It makes them more unsafe, which then allows your governments to put more of these murderous thugs in your community. They're doing it on purpose. This is not something that's by happenstance. In black communities or black populated areas, the police are not seen as protectors, but they are the threat. They are more of a threat to us perceptionally. They are more of a threat to us than any murderous criminal living next to us. We understand, for the most part, how to operate with them. The biggest threat to black people are the police. The police are not there to help us. That's the perception. They're there to harm. We don't have a track record of police helping or solving problems or issues. We have a track record of the police institution harming, killing, destroying, maiming, degrading. That's what the history is, and that's what the daily experience is. This will never. Now, the repeated use of the few bad apples narrative in the face of actual police violence against people of color, will continue to have mistrust towards law enforcement. And this mistrust is not unfounded, as a lot of white folk would like you to believe. It's based on a long history